So I'm going to try and keep this short and sweet. This is a delay that records an input buffer that you can play back. So there's a looper that's always listening to the input, and there's a threshold that you can set. If you exceed that threshold, the looper starts recording. If you drop below that threshold, it stops recording. And you want to see this little red light drop from time to time. So you might want to adjust your threshold because the looper only has a 32-second buffer, and if you exceed that, it will throw the whole system haywire. And sometimes it wiggles a little bit at the end. It's best to transition to a recorded loop while the light is still red or lit up. Anyhow, you can also play it back forward. If you want. You have a lot of control over the looper. You can change the pitch, which will also affect the speed. I personally like a loop that's slowed down. Has a nice, soothing quality to it. You can pitch up for the bat sounds and that sort of thing. I added the tape age function from my airport loops patch, and I added a slew limiter that determines how quickly the loop sort of degrades. So you can have a loop that sort of gains distortion and character as it plays longer. And you can determine how quickly that happens. Because it's a slew limiter, you really only start seeing effects on the second half of the travel because of its exponential time setting. You can also set the volume of the loops. I kept finding the loops kind of loud to play over, so I put in a volume control, and when I did that, I thought, well, I'll add a fade in time. So this is another slew limiter, so again, it becomes more dramatic in the second half of the travel. But you can have your loops sort of gain volume if you want, or they, you just set that to 0 and they come in at full volume, or at whatever volume you've set. So that's the looper side. The delay functions are pretty straightforward. I just added some controls that connect to the delay, which is on this page, which is page 4. If you wanted to change the time of the delay, or if you wanted to add MIDI clock in, the MIDI clock would go to the same place this stomp switch does. Actually, I'll just add it now. Why not? MIDI clock in. So MIDI clock in will override tap tempo. Just keep that in mind. We have a tap tempo. We have a little light that tells us what we tapped in. And then there's this middle stomp switch, which does what I call warp. What it does is it maxes out the feedback of the delay for oscillation, noise, chaos. Since it's a tape loop, right, it'll start just chewing itself up. And then I added this delay warp function, which basically just changes the speed of the delay. When it's a positive number, it'll slow the delay down. It sort of adds to the delay time. When it's a negative number, it'll speed the delay up, as if it's, you know, subtracting from the delay time, which is what it's doing. So and you know, this is the stomp switch. I almost made this latching because I kind of like it latching. So if you wanted to change, you know, how the phrases played back so that this latched, that's where you would do that. You can. So, you know, yeah, it is what it is. So I hope that's kind of cool. You know, and check it out and stuff. All right, thank you.